here on this channel, we've spent a lot of time talking about and analyzing the ammo industry and have for the last several years. And there are some changes in ammo supply taking place right now that most likely will lead to major shortages in 2024. Changes in ammo supply. So what's taking place? Well, let's look at the major problems, which are the United States and Europe. Let's look at the United States first, because this is the one that's going to affect us the most. In the United States, what we've seen is we have committed most of our ammo to war efforts in Europe. Now we're talking about small arms, and we're talking about much larger shells, but keep in mind, here on this channel, we're talking about it all in the same category because they all use the same components. They all use the same raw material. It's almost worse when you get in the bigger shells because they use a lot more of that raw material. So we're going to kind of put them all as one category because they affect each other. And you'd be fooling yourself if you don't think they affect each other, because primers are pretty hard to come by lately, as you know. So the bigger the primer, the bigger the problem. Now, what we've seen is the U.S. has committed $1.3 billion, $2.5 billion, $10 billion into increasing ammo supply. Meanwhile, the U.S. military has said we have hit that red line in our ammo reserve stockpile for the U.S. military. That means we're not only sending them everything we're producing, we're sending our reserves and our stockpile as well. Well, that's just what the military is doing. Let's look at the private sector. The private sector is right now around the clock, 24/7, mostly making military ammo and government contract ammo because they're supplying the raw material and the components. A lot of these ammo manufacturers can't run 24 hours a day because they don't have the components, but the U.S. federal government, they give them the components to then run their machines and be making government ammo about 80% of the time, according to private ammo manufacturers here in the U.S. Now, we're at a peacetime situation, okay? So that's what we got going on here in the U.S. In Europe, it's a whole different situation going on. Right now, the EU has demanded that all private ammo manufacturers commit their components and their raw material into a shared group, to where everybody can then be pumping out ammo for the war efforts. Okay, well, what does this mean for us? Well, why would there be major shortages in 2024? One, because it's almost like there's a man behind the curtain. You think you see ammo on the shelves and you think, well, everything's okay. There's ammo on the shelves. Of course, everything's going to be just fine. That ammo is not being replenished as you think it might be because the demand, the civilian demand for ammo is extremely low. But as this war effort continues, and right now what we're seeing is it's not about the box of ammo itself, it's about the raw material and the components going into the ammo. All of that is being consumed by the EU and the US. And anybody over in Asia making it, it's all getting consumed by Russia and China. And you do have a small ammo company in the Philippines. They'll probably do just fine, kind of keeping us supplied a little bit here and there, but just a little bit. And in the end, what you'll see is if there's anything at all that takes place in America that makes people freak out a little bit and go buy ammo again, and by the way, next year's an election season, that's it. That is it. Because what we're facing right now is we're already facing a shortage. We just haven't felt the effect of it quite yet. Because most of us stocked up in 2019. If there was a shortage, I'll think to myself, oh, good, I'm stocked up. I'm glad I did that. And a lot of us are that way. But obviously, as we shoot, that's going to keep dwindling down and dwindling down and dwindling down. And I shoot a lot. A lot of people buy ammo and they just sit on it. That's not me. So, major shortages coming because of the supply. You're not going to get a lot of European ammo coming. There's a lot stockpiled in civilian boxes that are still going to be feeding America. But by the time you get to 2023, that is going to be dried up because the EU said no more. You're giving it all to us. And the US hasn't gotten there quite yet. But they already have it all, if that makes sense. Like they already possess all the raw material. That's why the ammo manufacturers are working around the clock, pumping out mostly government ammo. This major change in supply of ammo is going to most likely lead to some major shortages in 2024. Unless just civilians don't buy ammo. As long as civilians don't buy ammo, we probably won't realize we're in a shortage, but actually will definitely be in one. Any thoughts or insight on that, definitely put that below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. Feel called to support this channel with Patreon. That link is also below. But the most important part of this channel, we take prayer requests. So please don't ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.